You are listening to Single Smart Female, Romantic Fairy Godmama Edition.
Today's show is brought to you by thelovesickcure.com. Does your love life suck because you can't move on from the idea of him? Does every man you meet pale in comparison to the way he made you feel? It's okay, lady love. We 100% understand and have been there before. Whether you'd like the opportunity to get him back or to completely move on, we know this only happens when you cure your heartbreak and love sickness. Let us help you do that today at thelovesickcure.com. It's Gen 1 reporting for duty.
Hello. Thank you for coming in, Gen 1. I have an assignment for you.
Over. I don't know how this goes.
I don't either. We're making things up as we go. I want to talk to you about something.
Tell me.
Okay. Let's talk today, and I want to talk to the ladies that are listening to us too, about does acting like you don't care really work?
With men.
With men.
Okay. So
that's our focus.
Yes, that's our focus today. Give me an example.
Okay. You may have heard some people talk about like, I don't give a beep. And are men attracted to the women who don't really care about them, you know?
Did you just beep on the show?
Beep.
Have you ever heard me on this show?
I know who you are. You're the cussing champion of 2018.
2018.
Hopefully repeating in every year from here on out. No. Just kidding.
Did I tell you my husband asked me to stop cussing?
Oh, yeah.
Well, first I laughed.
Yes.
And then I said, you'll have to find someone else.
Not possible. I'm not going to do this.
Oh, I'm sorry, ladies. I know some of you really would like me to stop it, but I'm not going to.
I feel like it's
love me anyways, just like I love you.
I feel like it's your like a part of who you are, like almost like
it's
your
a
arm.
limb. It's a limb.
Yeah, it's like your arm. Like
it's my cussing limb.
Yeah, don't cut that limb off though. That's So I just beep.
Okay.
Sometimes.
So back to the topic. We are talking about example of does acting like you don't care work with men.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there have been plenty of you out there who have thought that way. And in the progression of my dating life, when I was quite a bit younger, I cared a lot and I was overly invested and thinking about him all the time and messaging or calling or, or hoping he messaged or called me all the time.
Were you ever psycho? Because I was psycho.
No.
I was definitely psycho.
Yeah, I don't know what stopped me from that. I don't know.
Probably your sanity. I didn't have any at the time. That's why I make such a brilliant romantic fairy godmom. I know how all of these women out here get psycho sometimes.
You're like, hey, don't be like I was.
Yeah. And I know you're doing it, so stop.
Yeah. But then I would get crushed. I'd get my heart broken. And then I just decided, well, I don't effing care about you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. And
you don't fucking care about them?
Yes. I need to have you insert your cussing skills for my lack of cussing skills. I have cussed on this podcast, though.
Have you?
And I repented. No.
Maybe you repented.
I'm kidding. But no, so then I went through this time period where when I would first meet someone, I really didn't care about them yet. I hadn't connected to them yet enough. And I was just like, meh, I don't care. And then I would start to like them. And then I would get scared and anxious. But they seemed to be really liking me at first when I didn't care.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of reaffirmed in your head that the more you acted like you don't like them, that works.
Yep. Ooh, yeah. Because they like me. They like me because I was, you know why? Because I gave them energetic space.
Yes. But
not the right way.
No. So let's talk about this and break this down because I know a lot of women misinterpret this and they have heard from different sources, it's what we're trying to define is the difference between overinvesting and acting like you don't care.
Right.
There's a huge difference, ladies. So let's talk a lot about that today. I'm a big advocate of us being who we are, but doing it in a manner that we're not punishing other people with. And liking somebody is not punishing them.
No.
In fact, it's very flattering.
Yes.
I want all of you ladies to hear this out there. Men, there are certain men that are extremely attracted to women who ignore them and play hard to get.
Right, the chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Those guys, though, you have to, in order to attract them long term, set up that chase over and over again. And it's fucking exhausting.
It's so
exhausting. Not worth your time. It's somebody who basically hate having something reciprocated to them. They
Right.
have no space for you to accept your love. And why would you want to set that up in your life and have to figure out a way every 30 days or so to create the chase again and again, instead of just living your life and doing and going on incredible adventures? And it's stupid.
It's really accepting less than your worth too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I say it's stupid. And I know some ladies get really offended when I say things like this, but I'm going to say it's very stupid. And I say it from experience because I used to try to do this shit at different times in my life. Okay. It is extraordinarily bad advice to act like you don't care.
Absolutely.
It's probably some of the worst dating advice that is out there. Now, I want to talk specifically to something that you mentioned, because then I know women are going, but why is it that he acts more invested and interested when I act like I don't care? Something that you brought up, because I know women are going through that. My experience was a little bit different because I was kind of crazy from the get-go. I was always fucking adorable. I didn't know it, but I was. I was always a little crazy from the get-go and kind of just awkward and weird in the beginning part of meeting somebody. So it was always a miracle if I made it to any kind of relationship whatsoever. But it was a little bit different, although I did at times would intentionally act like there was, that I didn't. And yeah, you do get some response on it. But you hit the nail on the head. Is that the phrase?
You got it.
I actually got a phrase right. An idiomatic expression. I know what they are. I just can never get them right.
Thank you.
You know what the word is in Spanish?
For what?
Idiomatic expression.
Oh, of course. I mean, gosh, that's something I learned in first grade.
Modismo. There's your Spanish. Yeah. Spanish word for the day.
What's machismo?
Machismo? That's something completely different.
Okay.
We'll talk about that another.
We'll talk. Yeah.
Okay.
Next episode.
So what I want all of you ladies to understand is that what we teach here when you work with us is owning who you are, what your feelings are, not beating the hell out of somebody, not over-investing before men have actually started to step up for you and shown you that they're actually worthy of your romantic attention, but being okay with the fact that you're excited about them. Mm-hmm. They're actually very attracted to that in the right context, meaning you're not overwhelming them with this attraction where there's no space. You said it, like I said, you hit it on the nail. I did it on the nail on the head. When you said energetic space.
Exactly.
If I can give women out there any really big piece of advice as you are mantourage dating, yes, there are different things that I want you to learn, nuances of mantourage dating, how to personalize it for your experience, but do not ever pretend that you don't care about somebody, okay? Or when you're really excited about them, don't try to stuff all those feelings. Yes, I don't want you to act like a moron, because I've done that. It's not pretty whatsoever. But it is okay to be excited. Men are really attracted to you being attracted to them. And in fact, in relationships, that's one of the biggest things that happens between men and women is women get so good at fault finding that men start to think that, they feel nothing but disappointment for them. And they don't feel any attraction for them. And that's when...
And there's no way of pleasing you, which is what they really want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You practice all this in the dating phase so it becomes second habit once you get into that relationship. Yeah. But I'm not going to ever pretend in front of my husband that I don't care about him.
Right.
Ever. When we hit our major bump in, I think it was 2015, when we had a major bump which is what I created my class, Make Him Want You Again, off of. He said he did. He said to me that he didn't want to be together anymore. And I told him, I stood very firm in how I felt about him at the time, which it was really an eye-opening experience because I had been waffling in my head because we'd been a little bit contentious with each other the months before. And when he said that, I just stood my ground and said, okay, I accept how you feel right now. I don't feel that way. And I am absolutely 100% in love with you, but I also hear you where you're at. That, ladies, is one of the most powerful places and seductive places you can be in. If you have a man who is kind of waffling with you about his feelings for you, stand there. If you really like him, stand there. Honor him where he's at, but stand where you fucking are and do not pretend otherwise.
Right. And don't punish him for his feelings.
Yeah.
Right.
Let him have his feelings. We start to freak out about is that we think that feelings aren't going to change. Once he doesn't like you, he's never going to like you again. And let me tell you, guys, ladies, this is the biggest piece of bullshit that I've ever heard in my entire life, because men change their minds all the time about liking you again. Because when they walk into that world of women who are extremely insecure and go back and forth with them and then like them, don't like them, or playing all these mind games with them, things like that, they can't help but want you again. They can't help but want that magic that they felt when they were with you. Being with an adored woman is transformative for not only your life, but for their lives as well.
Right. Yeah. So I have some examples that I would love to share.
I want you to share because I was talking a lot.
That's okay.
I love your voice. I'm a talker. A cusser and a talker.
So my feelings on this subject is, does it really work, when you act like you don't care with men? I think that it does temporarily.
It's only temporary.
And it won't be long lasting.
And you'll never be able to get the closest that you really desire with that type of man.
Right. And you'll never really be able to be completely open and be who you are 100%, because you're always trying to make that game, play that game. So I used to be, like I said, I used to be the person who would pretend like, well, I kind of didn't care at first because I really hadn't connected to him yet. And then I started to connect to him, and then I got scared, like, oh crap, now I like them. So I made a conscious effort to shift that. And just 30 minutes ago, Jen, a guy texted me, one of my Mantourage members texted me and said, I think I might do this today. And I liked it. So I said, used one of your lines, and I said, oh, that really turns me on. You should. He responded right away and said, oh, it turns you on? Well, then I'm definitely doing it.
God,
and I love using that because they truly do. They are invested in your turn on. They like that. They like that they can make you happy, get you excited, all of that. So yeah, I mean, they want to know that they can make you feel good. I mean, let's just think about ourselves. And when a man will tell you, oh, you look beautiful today, or I've missed you, or, that feels good. Well, guys are the same way. They're a human being too. And they want to know that someone likes them and cares for them. And you want to be around people who bring you good energy, and that they want to be around you. Those are the people you want to make a conscious effort to go see, and the ones who make you feel good about yourself. So don't hold that back from a guy. I mean, like you were saying earlier, don't be overly over the top about it, but
you don't have to make it obnoxious.
Yeah.
Which I've done.
Yeah. In my past, I was seeing someone, and it had been several weeks since we seen each other. And I remember I texted him and said, I'm having withdrawals from your hugs. And so the next time we saw each other, we literally ran towards each other and embraced and like spun around, and I mean, those are the things. I mean, that guy was super crazy about me. And you want to have a balance where you're paying attention to your own and focused on things outside of him, but also let him know that you care. That's what's going to build something for long term.
It's a very seductive place to be to men. That turns them on more than anything, is to know that they're somebody that enjoys being around them, is not afraid to disclose that, but also not going to overwhelm them with all that at the same time. It's like a good balance. And how do you get to that part where you're not doing the overwhelming? Is by having a mantourage, by having other members of your mantourage that you can focus on and turn your attention to, and really making the rest of your life amazing too. Because remember, we're not just dating men here. We're dating our friends, we're dating our family, and we're dating ourselves. And ladies, this is a really important piece. All of you should be having at least one night a week, if not an entire day, to yourself. Okay. If you don't have that, that needs to go into your schedule, and you need to prioritize that above all else right now. Because I know some of us, especially when we're single, we're actually afraid of our own company. And I know this is a little bit off topic. I want you to stop being afraid of your own company, because if you're afraid of your own company, that means you have a certain level of desperate energy about you.
Yep.
That is not going to translate well in other relationships long term.
And I have been that person. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be that person too.
Yeah.
And it's a completely freeing world. Not only do you need downtime, one of my favorite, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again and again, one of my favorite 17th century courtesans was Ninon de L'Enclos, and she says, love often dies of indigestion, never starvation.
That is so sexy when you say that.
Thank you. I really
say it again.
I really am awesome. Awesome French accent. Ninon de L'Enclos. That is such an important thing to grasp, ladies. Get you some you time in there. Get excited about who you are as a person. Be okay with your own company. Not only do you get that time to digest all the goodness and great things going on in your life, and sometimes the crappy things too. You know, you need a little bit of that when you've had some stuff you just swallowed and it just didn't taste right. You need some of that as well, instead of trying to glaze over it with being so connected in other places. But giving yourself that digestion time, that also builds an air around you. You were able to create space between you and that specific man, or you and multiple men, but it also creates this vibe around you that says, wow, she really values herself.
Right.
And that is so sexy. Not only, you know, being willing to disclose how sexy they are to you, or not even just sexy, or how much you enjoy their company. That's really sexy to men. And also it builds you up in your strength for trusting men and being vulnerable with them. It's the first step before you get to the vulnerability piece.
Right. And I would say, Jen, that one of the shifts that I made was because when I did start to care for the guy, I would still try to act like I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And the reasoning behind that for me was that I was afraid that it wouldn't be reciprocated.
And it still comes off as desperate.
Yeah. And I was just so fearful that the non-reciprocation of it would mean that I wasn't worthy, or I wasn't valuable or desirable, or they wouldn't want me, you know? So I was terrified that they wouldn't. And which, I mean, yeah, when my behavior became kind of odd at the time, you know, for him, it felt, I'm sure, energetically strange.
Exactly. Even if you're not doing anything, the energy comes off as very odd. That's a great word for it. And just a weird, and there's still a desperate level to it. And
it doesn't leave room for connection. Like, that's what we're trying to do, is connect to each other. Mm-hmm. And so once I got past that and realized, like, well, I can be open with him, and if he doesn't reciprocate, it doesn't mean jack doodly do about me and my worth. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean anything.
It just means he's not your man right now. That's all it means. And that we have to stop making it mean so many horrible things, that we don't have to be deathly afraid of interacting with men in order to find what we really want, because it's going to happen regardless. If we want it to happen, it's definitely going to happen. And nobody's going to be able to stop that for us.
Yep. And now guess what? All of my connections have gotten deeper and deeper and better and better. So that letting go of that fear that it meant that I wasn't worthy or wasn't desirable is the best thing that happened to me. And what I thought might happen is that they would choose that. They've actually none of them have chose that. They all are like, oh, I like you. Or I could see myself spending my life with you, or I know you're the one, or I'm going to marry you. Like, that's the kind of things that I'm hearing now, you know? And it's just letting go of that fear that they're going to say, I don't want you. Mm-hmm. They all want me now.
I couldn't agree more, because I know how I feel about you. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show.
Acting as if you don't care about men in order to get his romantic attention never works out long term the way you think it will.
Thank you, lover girl, for joining us on this romantic fairy godmama edition of Single Smart Female. Don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, as well as visit us at singlesmartfemale.com.
We'll talk to you next time.
And here's to you having everything you want in life and love. Today's show is brought to you by thelovesickcure.com. Does your love life suck because you can't move on from the idea of him? Does every man you meet pale in comparison to the way he made you feel? It's okay, lady love. We 100% understand and have been there before. Whether you'd like the opportunity to get him back or to completely move on, we know this only happens when you cure your heartbreak and lovesickness. Let us help you do that today at thelovesickcure.com.